This is the app we're creating today using Core Data. The app allows the user to enter a new contact and also to edit a contact and update a contact. To add a new contact, you can click on the Add Contact button and then add a name and then a telephone number and then click on Add Contact button and then go back. As you can see, it added my name as a contact with a number. The application also enables the user to delete a contact, so if I want to delete a contact, I just swipe. And you can also filter or search on the contact name. So if I want to locate a name that includes A, it will locate Andrew or Fred. And then if I want to update Fred's blog's details, just click on Fred's blog's name here. And then edit the details. And edit the telephone number as well. And then click on update contact. As you can see, Fred's blog's details have been changed to Fred to ABC123. And that's the new number. Core Data is a digital filing cabinet for your app. It helps your app store and organize information like names, numbers, or other data in a neat and efficient way. You can easily change and find or delete information when needed. So this is the application we'll be creating. To start the tutorial, we need to create a new SwiftUI Core Data project. Select the app as the application, click on Next, and then enter the product name. I'll just call it Core Data Tester, and then make sure that Use Core Data is ticked, and also SwiftUI is ticked. SwiftUI selected, and then click on Next button. Click on Create. And then you can save it anywhere on your desktop or any location on your Mac. The next thing we need to do now is to create our core data model. The model is similar to a database or class. So to create your core data model, just click on the core data tester file, and then we need to rename the entity. An entity is like a class or an object. It includes attributes and data types. So because we're storing information about contacts or people, just call the entity contact. We can delete this entity, the item entity, and create our own one. So to delete it, just select it and then click on backspace. To add a new entity, just click on the Add Entity button at the bottom. Now we need to rename the entity. Just call it contact. The contact entity needs to have two attributes, and these are name and phone number. Both attributes are string data types. So click on the plus to add a new attribute. Give the attribute a name, which is called name. And also for the data type, assign it a string. Add a new attribute called phone number and assign it as string data type. And then click on the fourth tab or the fourth button on the right hand pane, which is this one here, and then on select, on tick optional, because the phone number is an optional, that's essential. And then do the same thing for name, it's not optional, because the contact needs to have a name and a phone number. And then just go to file and click on save just to save it. And then the next thing we need to do is we have to create, we need to create our view model. And the purpose of the view model will enable the application to perform CRUD functionality such as fetch, which is like select, add contact, which is like insert, update contact, which is update, and delete contact, which is delete. And also save contact or save context, which is then insert. So they're the things that we need to do. We need to create a new class and call it contact view model. So to do that, create a new class by holding down the control key, select file, Swift file, next call the new class contact view model, and then click on create. We need to import core data framework as we're using core data, and also we need to import Swift UI. And now we need to create our class. So type in class contact view model observable object. The reason why the contact view model is observable is because we'll be like watching the class and checking for any changes that happens in the class. Next thing we need to do is to create a publish object variable. So type in at publish bar contacts equals open bracket close bracket. So the publish variable is an array of contacts. And this publish variable will trigger any updates that happens in the contact view model. We need another publish variable, publish bar search text, and this is just a property to store the search text. We also need a core data context for managing the data. So just type in private var context ns manage object context. The next thing we need to do is to create a constructor. Type in init context ns manage object context self.context equals context fetch contacts. So the purpose of line 19 is to initialize the context. And then, so this is like dependency injection on line 19. So we're passing in our object that we want to be initialized. And then after that, we need to create another method called fetch contacts. And fetch contacts will fetch all of the contacts from the database, from the data table. So type in function, fetch contacts. Let's type in let request ns fetch request contact equals contact dot fetch request. So line 26 creates a fetch request for the contact entity. So how this works, when the fetch request method of the contact object has been called, all the information from the database will be assigned to the request as an array of contacts. And because we want to enable filtering, we need to add a predicate to filter the contacts by name. To do that, just type in if not search text is empty. So if there's a value in search text, request dot predicate equals ns predicate format name contains percent at search text. Line 29, what that does, it does a search on the contact name, which is this one here. Let me just go to it. It searches this attribute, the name attribute, which is this name here, and it's looking for anything that's similar to the name that we pass in within the search text. So as I've done before, if I entered F or Fred within the search text, the code would realize that the name appears within the database. And the next thing we need to do is to create a do statement to catch any errors. Just type in context equals try context dot fetch request. Line 34, what that does, it fetches the contacts from core data and assigns them to the contacts array. And then to display any error messages or any errors if they happen, just type in print error localized description. Now I'll just compile it just to make sure that it's correct. Oh, there's an error, cannot find item in scope. So item, that's within content view, so we need to delete that. We need to delete everything in content view. Or we can just delete content view, because we don't need it at the moment. So delete content view. And then, yeah, let's just re-add content view. Makes it easier. A plain content view. Content view. Delete the preview if we're not using previews. I'll compile it again. Cannot find items. The item is located somewhere else. So it's located within the persistence controller. Um, so with that one, yeah, just delete lines 16 to 19. And then recompile it. It's built successfully, which is good. And then go back to the contact view model. The next method we need to add is add contact. The purpose of add contact is to enable the user interface to save the actual contacts to the database. So type in func add contact name string phone number string. Let new contact equals contact open bracket context. And what this does, it creates a new contact object in core data context. New contact dot name equals name, and new contact dot phone number is equal to phone number. And then call save context. So we need to create that function now, save context. Private function save context. Do try context save fetch contacts patch, and then just print any error message that happens. Lines 45 to 53 does the following. It's a private function to save changes to core data context and triggers a new fetch. And then line 47 attempts to save changes in the core data context. And then line 49 fetches the updated contacts to reflect the changes. And then line 51 displays any errors that's happened. The next thing we need to do is to create another function called update contact. because we want the user to be able to update the contact name or phone number. Contact name, string, phone number, string. So these are the new parameters that the user can update to. So if they made an error in the database and they spelled someone's name or number incorrectly, they can change the information in the database by passing the parameters to core data. Contact.name equals name. Contact.phone number equals phone number. Save contact. Save contacts. The next function we need to do is called delete contact, because we want the user to be able to delete records from the database when they don't need them anymore. Delete contacts, contact, contacts. Contacts dot delete contact. So we're passing the content object to delete method or the context. So we're passing the contact, which is the person's name, and their phone number, which is the object. We're passing it to the delete method within the database to remove the person's record from the database. So because now we have removed the record from the database, we need to save it so that it's permanently removed. So just type in save contacts. Now I'll compile again, let's build it again. That built successfully. So next week we'll be starting on the content view. The content view will enable the user to interact with the database or core data by providing text fields and buttons to enable inserts and updates and deletes. Thank you for joining us. If you found this tutorial helpful, please comment, like and subscribe. See you next week.